So this is a movie that people apparently do not really enjoy. Hello, welcome back to the James Ramon Reviews Vietnam. In today's episode, just hooked you right in there. You're posing this. I'm posing this question like, why do people hate this movie I'm talking about? Because in today's review, I'm going to be giving you a spoiler-free review of my thoughts of the Electric State 2025, which came out the other week there on Netflix. And I saw things about the movie where there's people saying it's not that great, scored really low on Rotten Tomatoes. But let me just give you a bit of context here. I actually really do enjoy Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt as actors. They are just awesome actors. They know that they just get themselves attached to different passion projects and they like acting in general. So that enticed me. The trailer looked awesome. Looked really interesting about machines and robots and stuff like that, and it just looked awesome. So there's definitely all of that. That's my context. And so definitely, what is this movie all about without spoiling it? So what you have here is a movie where it's a big, I would say sci-fi epic, but definitely not on that level. It's like machines versus, humans and stuff like that. It's all set within, I think it was the 90s. I'm pretty sure this movie was either set in the 80s or the 90s, and there's like a flashback to 4 years later and stuff like that. You figured out that it's kind of like a retro vibe going for itself here. You've got 2 hours and 8 minutes. You've got Millie Bobby Brown, because oh my god, she does not look ugly, I'll just say that. And you have got Chris Pratt in this movie. Two big actors, and you're just like, yeah, let's get into this one. Let's fire this on. And I finished this movie last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I still remember what I really did enjoy about the film. So let's start off with the positives here. You know, we're glazing at this point, but Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, they aren't like together right at the start of the movie, but I feel like the performances are a lot of fun. The movie, there's a lot of funny moments in this film. It's really daft. It's self-aware. It realizes how silly it's gonna get and how crazy it's gonna get. So that's just absolutely good about the movie. Sure, there's a couple of scenes that drag on, or there's moments or shots where, Millie Bobby Brown is with this robot and they're just like wandering around. But when it gets to the crazy part and it starts picking up the pace, it never stops being interesting for me, and the movie just flies in and flies by. And I had an absolute blast with this movie. I actually really did enjoy this movie. And for a straight to streaming, it was meant to be like $300 million that the Russo brothers spent on the film. But honestly, it was an absolutely enjoyable film. And especially coming from the directors of Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. And, it's not the same level of that, obviously, but it's still a really enjoyable ride, and I would probably give this a solid 8 out of 10. Just watch this movie, fire it on if you've got the time for it, because I actually did enjoy the film. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the movie. It's funny, it was actually well acted, there was actually pretty cool action scenes, and there was also there was like these like visual effects with the robots, and one of the characters called Peanut in this movie, like kind of fit the weird vibe of everything. So the aesthetic was all down and dandy. I really did enjoy it. So yeah, enough glazing this movie. So yeah, that's my review of the Electric State. And no, I did not get in a state watching this movie. You know, I did get in a good state watching this movie, but not in a dramatical, kind of saddened state about the film, because it is a lot better than everyone is saying. So yeah, that's my review of the Electric State. So I better get out of here. Bye.